overdrawn direct loan account can be like a bar of soap that you can never get hold of, that you can never catch. And what am I talking about? Well, what I'm talking about is this never-ending situation where there is an overdrawn direct loan account permanently sitting on the company's balance sheet and it never gets resolved. How does this happen? Well, the answer is it happens very, very typically if you're an owner-managed business, you set up the business and you started taking money out of the company to live on without determining what that money was before you took it. So, very commonly, you might not have seen the accountant until the year end, at the end of the first financial year, at which point the accountant would say, we've just done a calculation on all your incomings and outgoings and this and that and the other, and we can see that you've had more out of the company than you were entitled to by way of dividends and salary. And then you scratch your head and say, never thought about salary, never thought about dividends. And it's like, well, you can't have money out of a company as remuneration without getting taxed on it. So if it's not dividends and it's not salary, then it's a loan. So it then goes on your balance sheet as an asset of the company, as a loan that you've had from the company that you owe back to the company. And then the accountant commonly will say, well, I know what we can do about that. You've made a nice little profit in the first year. So what we'll do is we will vote a dividend and we will just sweep away the overdrawn direct loan account based on the distributable profits that we calculated in those first accounts. And you think to yourself, great idea. Okay, and so once the year end is done, you vote a dividend and away you go. And so, except one problem. You do not prepare the accounts until after the year end, at which point, and that could be sometimes 9 months after the year end, at which point another 9 months has gone past and you've hoovered up another load of cash from the company. And so, second year comes along and the accountant goes, you've had all this money out of the company, it's not been dealt with as dividends or salary. Well, you've got another overdrawn direct loan account. And this is the problem. It just becomes a complete and utter cycle, never ending. And it sits on your balance sheet. And in some cases, what happens, particularly if the profits are not going up, so the dividends can't go up, what can happen is, particularly if you go through a blip, as many businesses do, and you've got some downturn in the profits, the overdrawn direct loan account starts rocketing because you can't clear it with dividends because you need distributable reserves to wipe it away with dividends, for instance, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And if you have a blip that is too severe and it lasts too long, you can end up with a situation where the overdrawn direct loan account gets bigger and bigger, 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 bigger. And before you know where you are, you've got a huge loan that you owe to the company. And if the company unfortunately went into liquidation, it will come crashing down and the liquidator will have to ask you to repay that money, and that is going to present a real problem. And so the way round it is, before you take a penny out of a company, is make sure you know what it is. In other words, is it going to be dividends? Is it going to be salary? If you haven't got distributable reserves, it can't be dividends, in which case vote salary or a bonus or something, but try and avoid taking it out by way of loans. Questions, queries, concerns, give us a shout. We know insolvency inside out.